I got to do them in the correct order here. And I'll be sure to comment on my own situation here, because several of you have reached out and asked, and I appreciate that greatly. For those of you who don't know, I was tested positive for COVID, and on Sunday I am fully vaccinated, so I think that makes a huge difference in my recovery. I'm feeling great. I did have a full football day of laying on the couch on Sunday with a fever, but then my fever broke, and since then I've just been recovering nicely. This is my situation. This is where this is a picture of my food tray that Jane delivered to me, because she has tested negative, and we want to keep it that way. She's out of the house today, so I get to sneak back up into the house when she's not here, and I'm back in my office to do this broadcast. But yeah, it's amazing the number of people that are having breakthrough cases where they've been fully vaccinated and yet they're contracting COVID, and it appears, based on my research, we have a lot of time when you're just laying there, that the vaccines last about 6 months, if that, in prevention. And that's why obviously they're talking up the booster. And then you obviously have the variants that maybe, does the vaccine work against those or not? They don't know. And so will we have constant state of vaccine, just like the flu season, or not? And like I was saying, I'm not going to get boosted. Jane did get boosted. Maybe that made the difference for her. She not getting it, me getting it. So my biggest thing is, it is, for me at least, because I'm vaccinated, it is not something to fear, and my symptoms have been very mild. Like I said, I had one day where I was kind of knocked out, and since then I've been back at it. It's a huge inconvenience. I am playing by the rules, and I'm isolating for 10 days. Really pissed me off that we can't have the Christmas party, but I asked my board of directors and they said no. And I said, I'll sit outside by the fire the whole night and people can just wave to me, and nope, can't do it. So really, really appreciate all of your well wishes. Incredibly kind, and I'm doing fine. And as you know, some of these cases make a turn, like people are doing really great. Those have all been in unvaccinated people, so I don't anticipate that, but that's the hope and prayer, is that I continue on this good recovery. I am working, so if you need to reach out, need to talk, all good with that. All right, I got a 12 o'clock appointment, so let's get going. Here's our agenda for today. We have some One America organizational announcement. We'll do the topic of the day, marketing ideas, and then we'll make some transition into some well announcements. I believe you got an email regarding that One America made some significant changes in their hierarchy command that do impact us. And it is completely in response to the issues we've been having with underwriting and servicing. And I applaud them, specifically applaud Scott Davison, the CEO of One America, and Dennis Martin, the head of all individual life and financial services, that, you know, it's their hierarchy, or it's their piece that is not working. And they specifically said, we told you things would improve. We acknowledged that at the leaders conference, which Eric Nagel and Chris Gandy and I were at Marco Island back in, I don't know, what was that, July. And they acknowledged we got issues. We're backlogged. We've got service issues. We need underwriters. We got hiring. We're being impacted. We are going to fix this. And they said they were going to fix it, and it's still not up to service standards. And so they said, okay, heads are going to roll. And so which is, I applaud it, because I have been saying it's a leadership issue. And they made some changes to leadership. Tony Brown, the head of operations, who was brought in specifically at the beginning of the year kind of to address this stuff, it's kind of a risk move because he was an outside guy, meaning not in financial services, but understood process and whatever. And Kevin DeGray, the head of career distribution, have both been, are no longer with the organization. So they've been terminated, and they've made some fast moves. It's not like, okay, we're going to go search for somebody. They grabbed people from within the vast area of One America. As you know, One America has multiple channels. They've got the retirement channel, which is much larger than the channel that we work in. They grabbed some people from there. They've got the employee benefits channel. They've got the brokerage, the broker dealer, but they grabbed some existing people. We distribute our products through multiple channels. You know, our channel, career agent channel, is actually not the largest. You know, they distribute our products through banks, through IMOs, through the independent channel. And so there are some resources across those different areas that they pulled in. And one of them that you will want to write down his name is Chris Coudray. He is now the head of the field, if you will. And he has both the IB channel, which is the independent brokerage channel, which none of us are in, but it's out there. You've heard me reference guys like, gosh, what's his name? I own his book. Brett, dang it, Brett, say it, Colleen.
Brent Kessler.
Brent Kessler. He's like the #1 dude in the independent channel. And then there's the career agent channel, and that's what we're all in. And within that, there are under the career channel, there are career agents and preferred brokers. And so we're either one of those two things. Well, Chris Coudray is now in charge of both of those areas. So Brent Gritton, it reports to him, and he is still our guy until further notice. I have been in conversation with him since this announcement went down on Monday. He said, all indications are I'm still working with you guys, so that's all good. And so we will see where it goes from there. The big thing is they've acknowledged we've got problems in the underwriting and servicing. We know it. We're going to fix it, and we've made some huge changes with leadership. And tactically, between now and here and the end of the year, and was surprised that this was even an issue, but HR has approved overtime for underwriters and servicing people. So I know I'm shaking my head too, meaning like, what? They weren't allowing them to do this up to this point? I guess not. And so they've said no time off between, no PTO between now and the end of the year. That's why we had a bunch of people take PTO in November, because as soon as they made that announcement, they said, what, you're not gonna let me take off in Christmas? Well, I'm gonna take off now. And so November consequently wasn't a great pay month for us. But they said, no, none between now and the end of the year. And they said, and we're approving overtime for our people. So if they want to log extra time at home while they're working from home to get cases done, and underwriters are taking advantage of this, that has received a thumbs up. So we're excited about that. We're excited about change. It always takes time for change to have its lasting impact, but I do believe this will be a good thing. I'll stop and see if there's any questions about that. I don't know if I'll have any answers, but to get more of the details, you would have received an email on Monday afternoon. If you don't have it and would like it, because I don't know what the distribution of that was, let us know and we'll be happy to share it with you. Just send Colleen or I an email and say, hey, can you forward that to me? Happy to do that. All right. Marketing. Let's talk marketing. So according to me, marketing is anything you do to secure a business appointment. So some people say, well, there's marketing and then there's prospecting. I'm lumping it all together. Anything that you do today that gets you to a business appointment is what we're calling marketing. And this is, we could spend a day on this, and hopefully this topic is a precursor or an ignite for you to go deeper in this. You can engage us on this, for you to really to examine this for yourself and determine, okay, what am I going to do with this going into 2022? I have this philosophy that it is the number one reason people do not make it in this business, is because of their marketing efforts. And it's not good enough or sufficient enough or polished enough. I take in a very simplistic way and say, this is you in business. There are literally three things that you do in this business. And one is that the most important thing is at the top of the pyramid is your business appointments. This is when you are actually seeing a prospective client. These are business appointments face-to-face or over Zoom or whatever. This is your appointments, gathering a fact finder, that proposing, connecting with the person. And if I were to absolutely put a number on that, I think you should have 8 of those at minimum per week. If you're below that number, it's probably because you're not doing enough of this middle part, which is marketing. Everything you do to get those appointments. And I believe, so the most important thing of this triangle is the top, yet it also is the smallest in space. If we say this triangle represents all the time that we spend on business, actually seeing clients or prospective clients is the smallest amount of time that I spend. Eight appointments would average about 8 hours a week. And your marketing efforts need to be twice as large as your top of the triangle. So if 8 equals 8 appointments, which equals 8 hours, then your marketing efforts week in, week out need to represent 16 hours. And this is broken down in both short-term and long-term. 80% of it should be short-term, which is, this is what I'm doing to generate an appointment next week or the following week. So short-term, 80% of my efforts, 80% of this 16 hours should be focused on making appointments next week or the following week. And 20% is long-term. That's what we're talking about in this deal. That marketing, so is a phone call marketing? Yep, phoning is marketing, and it's going to generate me an appointment, or it's going to be, nope, not now, I'm not ready. Well, I'm one step closer to an appointment. That person is a little bit more, I'm a little bit more front of mind for that person. Is texting people marketing? Yep. Is drip marketing on them an idea marketing? Yep. All of these things are marketing ideas, and some of them are long-term, more way out there, generating future appointments for that I can reach and reach people in the future. And 80% of them are short-term. And so when I look week to week, or when I'm examining my time and saying, okay, how, because you're an entrepreneur, you are self-disciplined, self-starter, self-determining. Nobody's there to say, okay, you should be doing this now or this now. You're the one who needs to be determining, okay, am I spending enough time in marketing, and am I spending the right activities in marketing? And often that starts with, well, how many actual business appointments am I having? How many appointments week in, week out am I having? And therefore, if I'm not satisfied with that number, I need to be doing more of this and maybe better of this. Now, there gets to be a point where I become a bit more of a demand organization. People do want to get on my calendar. You know, Chris Gandy runs way more appointments than 8 a week. And he probably doesn't have to spend the amount of time in marketing today that he did 10 years ago, or even 2 years ago, because he continues to build, and he's getting to a tipping point where he doesn't have to do the same kind of marketing. For those of us who aren't at that level, excuse me, we have to be thinking more marketing, better marketing, smart marketing. So, and if you ask me, what's the final piece of this puzzle? You know, what's the bottom of this? It's everything else. So that's like training. That's like prepping for a case. That's like catching up on news. That's like, there's a lot of positive things in here. And frankly, there's a lot of negative things in here. So when you're evaluating your business, how many business appointments am I running? Am I satisfied with that? Therefore, am I doing enough marketing? And today we're going to focus on the marketing aspect of that. So it starts with you reviewing where you're at today. And if you're brand new to it, like a Rob Hanna who's on the call, well, then you're not reviewing really anything. You're planning for, okay, what am I going to do going forward? But for those of you who have been here for years or 1 year or 1 month or whatever, okay, how many wins did I have? Oops, sorry, hang on, let me get rid of this. Got to get rid of this. Boom. Sorry. How many wins did I have in 2021? With wins being, could be sales, could be clients. Literally going back and reviewing your calendar and taking the time to examine this is absolutely huge. And if you did one thing with today and scheduled time with yourself, and even if you did that, right now, and you kind of opened up your calendar and you said, I'm going to block out half a day to review my year and my marketing efforts, time to review and examine and reflect my marketing efforts. Everything I did to get an appointment. So how many sales did I have? How many new clients did I have? And when I look at those new clients, when I say, okay, here's the Smiths. Oh yeah, that was in April. Oh yeah, and here's the Joneses. And some of those are, well, I've been doing this for 10 years, and these guys have been a client for mine for a long time. So they're an existing client. And then the Smiths, they were a new client this year. And in that case, where did that new client come from? Where did the Smiths come from? Not, oh, they're from Naperville. Where did they come to my situation, to my practice? How did I find them? Did they find me, or did I find them? Most likely I found them. What was it an effort? Was it a referral? Was it I bumped into them at an activity? Was it was part of my drip campaign? Was it I cold called them? What? And make note of that. Because as you categorize these things, you can then say, okay, this is actually working. This isn't working, but I kind of believe in it. And I didn't get anything from this effort. Why am I spending money on that? Or why am I spending time on that, which is money? This is an incredibly useful practice to periodically do at least once a year for determining, okay, where am I going to bet my chip going forward? Where am I going to spend some time? Where's my R&D? I'm going to try some new things. Here's just a quick aside in this exercise. I ask people this question a lot of times when they're an existing practice and they're coming and looking at joining someplace under the Wella umbrella. How many clients do you have? And I am shocked at the number of people that are unable to answer that question. And then, I'll say, well, like if you were going to send a Christmas card or a Thanksgiving card or a New Year's card, how many households would you send it to? I know you may not know off the top of your head exactly, but a good business person would know how big their client base is, and they don't. And you need to get to the point where you know your practice. And a lot of times this is simply because they don't have a CRM and they don't keep track of their clients. And this is devastating because many of the sales going forward are going to come right here from existing clients. And you want to keep them close in touch. And when you get into, you want to establish a service model of, I reach out to my clients, I touch on them in particular ways. And I realize some of you aren't at the juncture of doing that. And that's not what today is to talk about, but that is where we want to go, to have a client service model, to keep in touch with your clients, to provide full comprehensive financial planning for your clients. And it all starts with having good access to good data, which starts with a CRM. So if you don't have a CRM, HubSpot, you can get a free one from us. We can teach you how to use it. We can customize it to certain degrees for you. We can, you can do, keep things in place for that. Again, it's a bit of an aside, but if you don't have a CRM and aren't loading it up with your clients and adding to it with your prospects, then marketing efforts are kind of like shooting into the dark with a shotgun, and then going and looking in on the next day and seeing if you got anything. Because the key to marketing is follow-up. And not one time of follow-up, but consistent follow-up that's scheduled and regular. Which brings us to this other idea right here. One of the most powerful marketing techniques is just simply reviewing your calendar. if you act on it. Like if you take, again, nothing from this. Idea number one is block out a huge chunk of time, half a day, to examine all of your efforts and to make some decisions going forward. Idea number two is just reviewing your calendar, name by name, of who you saw over the last 12 months. And was 2021 a funky year? Absolutely, because we went into 2021 thinking it was going to be back to normal. And this vaccine thing was going to come and was going to save the day and put everything back to normal. And guess what? 2021 was not normal. And if anything, it's only an indication of the future. And so we need to learn how to market differently, how to meet with clients differently, and learn from this year and not do the things that didn't work, and repeat the things that did work and add some other things to increase our level of appointments. This deal right here, reviewing your calendar and going through each name, literally going week by week and saying, who did I meet with here? Who did I meet with here? And you will, for yourself, come up with names and then make a list of them, of people you started a process with, and for some reason it fell through the cracks. It either fell through the cracks because of them, the ball was in their court and they never finished or got back to you, or there was something they were going to do or make a decision, or it's something that you did. And oh crap, I was going to do some research for that person. Oh yeah, we did talk about that, and then I never did anything with it. And you make a list of this, and this becomes your hot list for starting right now, and say, we met back in April and we were close. We started some stuff, and if you have to fall on the sword, even if mainly it wasn't you, fall on the sword and say, I might have dropped the ball and I apologize, but I just want to make sure that, we pick this thing back up, and let's revisit this situation. You are differentiating yourself in that act right there from most of the people that are in this industry. Most people are not successful in this because they don't follow up enough. They give up too soon. They say, yeah, I proposed something and they just never did anything with it. So go back. People buy after being asked multiple times. Very few people act on one or two times. They need to have multiple times. And if they tell you, go away, no, I'm not interested. But this idea in and of itself will make you dollars. All right. So after you've reviewed and examined, you've gone through and you've categorized and you've looked at your sales, and I fully realize some of you have very few to even go on here. And so maybe it's, that, all right, that was just dumb luck, or, well, that sale came from here. Now you're positioning this against, how did I actually try to get appointments? And these are some of the critical decisions then you need to make going forward. What do I need to continue? Yep, I really like that. And maybe potentially increase. If I'm running an average of 7 appointments a week, if I increase this, I should see X amount, a couple more appointments a week from that. Or I am spending a boatload of money on some kind of drip campaign, and I didn't receive one meaningful appointment out of that, or it was a handful. I did. Why is this of value to me or not? Does it keep my market warm? Does it not? These are the decisions that you need to make. What should I continue? What do I need to stop? And then, okay, what are the new things that I can try? here are the new things you can try or enhance. First thing, your internet presence. Now, remembering our triangle. Top of the triangle, most important thing you do, literally the only things that you do to get paid. These are your business appointments. Middle of the triangle, all the things that you do that fall into gaining you an appointment. And 80% of those are for creating an appointment next week or the following week. 20% are long-term. This internet presence is a long-term thing and has low impact. So I'm starting with something that's not in the 80% place. Why? Because everybody loves to talk about social media and internet and Google searches and what have you. It is important, I believe, but it's not going to get you an appointment next week. And so don't waste a ton of time in doing it. Give it the proper measure. It's important, but it's long-term. It's important. It's not going to get me an appointment. So what is your presence on the internet? And the first place to start is to take a look at what do people see when they Google you? And you can bet they Google you. When you're meeting a new person or you're approaching a new person, which you want to be doing, they're always looking to be introducing yourself to new people and telling them what you do. Then they're in their spare time or in their shortly after you're meeting with them, or literally while you're on the phone with them. That's what I do. If somebody's talking to me, I'm Googling them, I'm going on LinkedIn. They're doing the same to you with your outward reaches to them. So Google your name, start there. Do you like what you see? When I Google my name, this is what I see. I see this guy who is way more famous than me, who has existed for a long time, because this is what I would see every time I Googled my name. I'd see this guy who was an assemblyman out in New York. I don't want to be mean here, but he passed away this year. So now he'll probably drift away, and I'll maybe move up and tell somebody more famous Dennis Gorski. But I am listed down here. Here's this Dennis Gorski, and I'm good with that. You know, here's Money US News. All right, financial advisor in Oak Brook. Not exactly accurate, 19 years. No, it's been way over 30 years. Here's CLU, CHC, CLT, well, a financial, cool. They could Google that right away then too. So I'm happy with this, because if they clicked on these or dig into these, which you want to do, is that what you want to see that comes up? And if you don't, or if it's slightly inaccurate, or if you are, you know, your other career, or you have some side light and that's what comes up, and then they say, wait a minute, why are you trying to sell me financial services when I see you're an Uber driver? Or I see, so you can't control all of it. You can control some of it, but the most important thing is you want to know what's out there. You do want to create a social media profile. And I think the one to do it on is LinkedIn. A lot of people also like Facebook. I think Facebook has a lot of haters, a lot of people that just talk about a lot of other things. It's much more social and less business. A lot of business does get done there. I realize that, but it's not where I want to build my professional profile, I guess I would say. So this is something for you to examine. What is my, man, do I need to fix my LinkedIn profile? Yeah. Don't say, I've had many of you say, yeah, I got to fix that. And then you don't. And so just do it. Not spend a couple hours and upgrade it and get it more accurate and get it to the point. And if you need some help with that, we have people who are very good with that, both at the home office and within Wella. Then you also need to be a little bit active on your social media. You need to connect with people. I connect with a ton of people. I set a goal with how many people I'm going to connect with. Message people. This is how I make new contacts, not necessarily about business to start with, just a common connection, and then business will flow from there. Excuse me. Comment positively on things that you see and post appropriately as you want to. Less business is better. More about life and hopefulness and positive things and leadership. And here's a little bit on the economy, or here's a little bit about the value of. And yes, can I outsource this? Yes, One America's marketing store has some easy things that you can put out there and outsource this so that it's all done on a regular clock. And you don't have to mess with it. I still think, even when I do this, even when I outsource, that it is important for me to decide how many minutes a week am I going to spend on this, and then calendar it. Build it into your calendar. If it's Friday morning between 8 and 8:30, that is when I'm going to be proactive on LinkedIn. And honestly, I'd probably do it more in the beginning of the week. I'd take maybe Tuesday mornings between 8 and 8:30. I'm going to be really proactive. I'm going to see who connected with me. I always like looking at who's been looking at my profile, and I immediately connect with them. Why were you looking at me? Well, I'll connect with you and see if you want to have a conversation. Anybody that I have who's in my first degree of connection and has done something cool, I'm going to not just like it. Like-it's are pretty mundane, but to actually comment, and actually comment genuinely. And then you start a dialogue, and then all of a sudden somebody who else is in that person's profile is looking at you, and I'm starting a connection. And I'm not selling on my connections. I'm making a connection and moving it off LinkedIn to have a further conversation. This again is long-term and low impact. So don't spend an enormous amount of time on this, but it is important. Here's another thing you don't have to do, but can do, and have at a pretty reasonable cost. And we've introduced this in the past. If you're interested in this, contact us and we'll put you in touch. And I think the deal is like, I don't know, $20 a month to have a personal landing page. What it means is, some people are like, Dennis, it's great that we're on the Wella website, but they have to drill down to find me. They said, I went to Wella and I couldn't find you, or whatever. I Googled your name. If I Google your name, your personal landing page will come up, and then they can click on that. They can see your bio and your picture and the fact that you've been in the industry, and you check out, wow. And then there's a link back to your various websites, to Midwest Legacy, or to Wella Financial, or to the Rise Agency. But it's because you have a personal landing page, that's what shows up first in their search, or that's what's on your business card. So they go to that and say, oh, you're legit. Even though anybody could make a personal landing page, it legitimizes you hugely by having such a thing. And so to have one of these, if you don't and want to do it, talk to us. We can put you in touch with people who can create one at a very low cost, because they're affiliated with our IMO, and you can have that with your own branding. That's the whole idea. All right. Any questions with any of that? Otherwise, let's move off of internet presence. Your script, your marketing script, is incredibly important. This is your marketing script. This is what you say, or more importantly, what you ask the first time you are approaching a person. You want to determine, is this a person I want to meet with because I just met them, or that I know this person is a person I meet with them because I've done some research on them and I've been watching them and now I'm going to approach them. Your script, what you say and what you ask, is very high impact. This, I believe, is a huge differentiator between the winners and the mediocres, because it has been created, rehearsed, and professionalized. It is to be used, obviously, to create appointments next week or the week after. So it falls in that 80%, very important, short term, get me appointments now category. I reached out to 4 of our top producers. All 4 make over 100 grand a year. And I said, what do you say when you're approaching a prospect, someone you is not an existing client, and you want to gain a business appointment? And those 4 people, by the way, Eric Nagel, who I think is on today's call, and man, I would love for Eric to have a just Zoom 1-hour session like this in the idea of the week and just share his practice, because here's a guy who's just over a year old and has figured it out to a large degree, is having great success and is creating and doing all the right things, has been very coachable on taking ideas, making them his own, etc. So Eric Nagel, Eric Essex, long time, Dave Cacone, New York Life, big time producer, does a ton of asset care with us, and Big Leonidas, huge annuity writer. So I reached out to all 4 of these guys and said, sent them pretty much the exact same text. When you meet a person, what do you say to gain an appointment? And they all responded. And what was incredibly impressive is they have it down. I mean, this is just like Chris Gandy teaches in Ferocious Prospecting. You got to rehearse and memorize. You got to get up in front of the mirror. You got to say the same thing. You got to have this down so that it just rolls off. And Eric has a PowerPoint that he shares with people. It has questions in it, like the same questions that are in the Wella point of sale piece. What are you striving for? What keeps you up at night? Questions, and then leading questions to help the person. It explains what he does, talks about his team, has some very regular questions to have that conversation. Eric Essex sent me a script. You want a script? This is exactly what I say when I'm meeting somebody at a chamber. This is what I say when I'm meeting somebody that was referred to me. Has it written down? This is a big question for you. Is yours written down? Or do you just shoot from the hip each and every time? Well, I'm kind of good. I just kind of do this. Well, really? Why is it that the best in our business associated with Wella all have something that's written down and on paper? Then the question would be, has anyone reviewed your piece and given you some feedback and said, man, this is awesome. You might want to change this. Or, hey, did you see this typo in this piece you have here? Or whatever. Do you practice it? Do you get up in front of somebody and say, who's a friend of yours, who's a colleague, a peer, and say, all right, I just met you and I want to gain an appointment. How does this come off? Because I'm not getting any new appointments. And critically, does it do more telling or does it do more asking? People respond to questions. Leonidas was all about, you know how people are afraid of running out of money, or they don't know how much they need to have. And people say, yeah, you know, do you know anybody like that? Yeah, I know lots. I'm like that. I have no idea how much money I need, and will it last forever? And that's exactly what I do. You know, people, you need a response for, so what do you do? So what do you do? It's the most common question you're going to get asked during these next couple weeks when you're at holiday functions, Christmas parties, church services. You're going to see people that you haven't seen in a long time. And hey, so what do you do? You're going to be out at a nightclub or whatever, dinner, be introduced to people. This is good. This is you on business. This is you marketing. This is you spending twice as much time in the marketing phase than in the business planning phase. You have to have your marketing ears and eyes on, and you have to be ready to answer this question. So what do you do? Well, you know how people are always worried about running out of money, and you know they don't know how much they'll need, and they don't know what their future is going to look like, and they've got dreams, and you know Eric uses his wants, wishes, and dreams or whatever, and that's it. Eric Essex language comes right out of Money Guide Pro. And people stop and ask the question and stop and listen. Yeah, well, that's what I do. That's exactly what I do. I help people address those questions. So the point is do you have this? Is it written down? Is it figured out? Does it answer your prospects' non-verbalized questions? They're asking questions like, who is this guy? What does he do? How long has he been doing it? Is this going to cost me money? Think, ask people, what are the questions going through your mind that you're not verbalizing when I'm first coming up to you? Does my elevator speech address these? If you would like your script reviewed, again, this could be easy to do in your blocked out time for marketing. Is this marketing? Absolutely. So often we think of marketing as, oh, should I buy a billboard this year? No. Your marketing is what you say. This is also your marketing. Who is on your call list? Yes, even when you have tons of repeat business, clients calling you, you still have to make outgoing calls. You want to make outgoing calls because you're always trying to elevate your practice. All of the people I mentioned make outgoing calls. Chris Gandy makes outgoing calls, new contacts. They often fall in one of these four categories. Somebody who is an existing client, somebody who is in my natural market. I know them in some way. They know me. I have their contact information, a referral from A or B, or an affinity list. And I'll get to that. I've put these in the order of easiest to get an appointment to least easy. So I literally could call 5 existing clients and get 5 appointments scheduled. Might be 2 months out, but I could get all of them scheduled. Hey, we need to review what you got in place, see if we need to make any changes to your portfolio. Just want to bring you up to date on that. I'm not even, I'm coming across as I'm not selling anything. I got to update my records. We took your fact finder over 2 years ago. Man, lots has changed. I need to do my fiduciary responsibility and update my records on this. There's all kinds of language around reaching out and contacting these. The important thing is, do you have a list? Do you know how many of these do you have? Do you have a list? Do you know how many of these do you have? There's language to get referrals from A to B. We can work on that. This is a marketing. This can be good marketing. Yeah, you know what? You wouldn't need any marketing if you just called on A, B, if you were really good at A, B, and C, C especially. You would just continually be adding, always be adding to your natural market by having a CRM of where to store them and having a follow-up system. And pretty soon you'll determine, nope, that person's moving out, never going to get an appointment with them. They're mean. They've stood me up a couple times. Get out of my CRM, not going to contact you anymore, or I'll move you down to a different level. Here's a person that I want to move up into I just met this person. I'm always about meeting new people. Oh, my furnace needed a new, broke down this week. I'm going to have some people over, the guy over to fix it. I'm gonna put him in my CRM. I'm having conversations with him while he's doing stuff on my furnace. And there's a owner of the furnace place. I'm going to get into them. Boy, bingo. I'm always adding. I'm always looking for ways to add to my natural market. It is not a finite number. You make it a game or a challenge. How many people can I add this week to my CRM? New observations. Met this person here. Met this person here. This is the great time to be adding people. It should be a constant. It should be every week. Who did I add? And then have a system for following up on them. Yes, I can outsource, and we have multiple places to outsource. The drip component, keeping people informed via newsletter or article or something, drip, some kind of drip of what I do and what's pertinent, and here I can call, but I'm always still having to reach out to these people. This last area, this affinity list, should also be on my call list. So from this, from A, B, C, and D, each week I should have a new set of, all right, here are my 20 people that I got to reach out to this week. So many are from my existing client, so many are from my natural market, so many are referrals, and so many are from my affinity list. An affinity list is a list of people, a directory of people that has their email, or better yet, phone numbers. Yes, needs phone numbers. Best yet is cell phone numbers that I can text to, of some kind of association that I'm part of. So it might be, I live in a neighborhood and we have a neighborhood association and they publish a list. But I got that list. I can reach out to that. Or I'm a member of a congregation at a church. They have a directory. That's an affinity list. I can reach out to that. Or my kids belong to a school and they're on a sports team and a big soccer club, and here are all the people that are part of it, and it has an association list, and I can reach out to them and I can say, hey, you and I are at the same soccer club and whatever, or hey, I'd love to, and I'm introducing my services to that. Now you got to be careful with some of that. Some of them will say, hey, you can't market to our list, and you do it in a friend way, we are a mutual connection. I want to move them from here, my affinity list, into my natural market list. And there's different ways to do that. I can softly invite them to, hey, I'm having a little workshop on what's happening in the economy. We're having a bourbon tasting, and I'm going to do a little bit of update on the issues that are going on in the United States and the economy, and new tax laws that are coming down, whatever. But who is on your list, and always adding to your list. And again, here's where I would ask some of you, do you have a list like this? Do you have these? Well, yeah, I'm not in a couple different places. Because I don't have a CRM and I don't have this organized, well, this is a problem to marketing then. Shoot, I'm running out of time. Let me go here. Adding better people to your CRM. These are more of your long-term marketing activities. These are things that you can do and to generate high quality, new quality names that then can be on your call list. Number one is just joining something. Join something like the chamber or like a leads group, a networking group, some kind of philanthropic social group, a congregation, your kids' activities. Be involved because people are going to ask you, so what do you do? And when they ask you or you ask them and they give you their business card, you plug them in to your CRM. You can do lunch and learn. I'm going to just rapidly go through these last pieces here. You can do lunch and learns at businesses, short 20-minute. You bring in lunch, you do a presentation. You have people that are interested, you're gathering their names. Boom. Fish bowls at your business owners' places, at the dry cleaning, at the restaurant, your card showing you're doing a giveaway, you're collecting all kinds of names. You give away one winner, you give lots of second place winners. Second place winners, you get a free financial analysis. Well, I'm not interested in that. Can I put you on our workshop list? We're going to have a future workshop. Sure. Can I put you on our newsletter list? Sure. Business door knocks. Again, I'm not trying to get an appointment for next week. I'm trying to get the name, the contact information so that then I can grip on them and share our services. Continue to do that, set up an appointment. Love to find 15 minutes to share what we do and how we might be able to impact you. Professional alliances. This is my CPA. This is my attorney. This is lead sharing, name sharing, client sharing. Things that I can help them, they can help me. Often these people are licensed but don't want to practice. Yeah, I'll help your people out and I'll split you in on the case. How many of these do you have or have you developed? This gets you new people to add to your CRM. And then workshops, which largely went away because of COVID, but they're coming back. And the reason I have this on here, because Leonidas on January 5th of this segment, January 5, I think is the first Wednesday in January. He's going to be demoing and talking about his workshop and giving you the opportunity to invite clients to it if you so choose. And maybe that's something you want to do, or maybe that's something that you want to partner on. We've done that in the past. We'll do that again going forward in the future. Lastly, I have down here just becoming passionate about something that a concept that you want to tell the world about. Wealth building cornerstones is that, infinite banking is that. You learn that process or that concept inside and out and how it works. You can literally tell that and share that with anyone. Wealth building cornerstones is all about sequence risk and how one mitigates that and beats it. And nobody is talking about sequence risk or how you beat it by being diversified the right way, not just asset wise, but as you know, if you don't know anything about that, we'll bring out a session on that. And infinite banking, creating your own personal bank. So you're not paying money to interest money to banks, you're paying it back to yourself. Be an expert on that and just share that. There are people who have built entire practices just around a concept, and that's all they do is they share that concept with everyone. I like to practice in the more comprehensive fashion. I'll help you in this area, in this area, in this area, but this is a way that it can be done. Let me look here real quick. Oh, somebody had to leave, no problem. All of this is largely to say, on this final screen, get professional marketing help where you need it. If you're not going to be doing this on your own, then get some help. There are helps in the do-it-yourself category of like the Hoopus network. You can go in there and put in marketing in the search box and you can come up with a whole host of ideas. NAFA, we have, and I just want to make a quick call out on Eric Essex and Megan McGlone and Chris Gandy, who are all in DC still today. A lot speaking, they're on the Hill, speaking to senators and Congress people and aides and whatever, and speaking on behalf of the life insurance industry. That's a primary place that NAFA is in our corner when you're a member of them, and we're big advocates of it. But NAFA also provides all kinds of efforts to help and train and support and marketing ideas by bringing in speakers and putting on some industry class events. And we will, going into 2022, be wrapping a lot more of our calendar around their events, because they, not only is it the speakers that they bring in, but then it's just the peers that you're there with. It's people that are doing the exact same thing that you're doing, and we learn from each other. Largely, they are independent people, which we all are. Lastly, I want to speak to, we now have on staff somebody that can help us build this. Meaning your business plan, your marketing plan, that can help you review and pull out of you a business practice, a marketing practice to help you grow your practice and take it to the next level. I want Jason Nelson, and I'll do a formal email introduction, and you'll be seeing Jason. And another reason why I'm ticked that we're not, or disappointed that we're not having the Christmas party, is because Jason would have been there, and a great way to meet in one-on-one, but he's making the rounds through the Wella umbrella and meeting different individuals. Comes to us from most recently Thrivent Financial, but more importantly than that, has a long history of just helping ministries and practices and startups launch. And in essence, that's what a lot of us are doing or trying to do, are trying to launch and get off the ground and be productive and turn our marketing into real business opportunities. And so as our VP of Development and Culture, going to be working with exactly that, you and your practices, and helping people take it to the next level. Never a have to. This isn't, you're an independent contractor, but this is a service that you can enlist. And so we're very excited about Jason joining our team. Is one of us, is still going on client appointments, so it's not like he's some outsider. Understands the financial services industry and has a niche for development and training and launch and marketing. So we're excited to have Jason joining our team. I'm 6 minutes over and I'm late for my appointment, so I am going to literally sign off there.